diversification is important for you as an investor, or if you're just owning a business. It's important to understand what type of diversification you're dealing with, whether it's your portfolio or it's your business. Behind me is a feedlot, which is only one part of this ranch. So in terms of diversification, this is only one piece of the puzzle. As I walk over this way, you're going to see that what we're looking at is actual pasture. It's an area where cattle could graze. It's also another part of the ranch that can generate revenue, whether it's just allowing cattle to graze there or actually renting it out for somebody to have their cattle graze. As we continue over, you're going to see that there's a crop planted, and it's actually corn that's growing in the field right now, but in general it's cropland. You could grow anything there that is a crop that will grow on the land. So it's diversified in these three ways. You could actually go further and give additional examples, but just think of it. You have a feedlot, you have pasture, and you have cropland. So the farm is diversified, but it's really industry specific in terms of its diversification, because if you think about all the things that we just looked at, they're all correlated together in probably a pretty highly sort of way. Because the corn, if you consider this, I'm not sure if it is silage corn, but let's say it is silage corn. If that's silage corn, it's going to go to feed cattle. Cattle are in the feedlot, and the pasture, well, what's that good for? It's good for cattle as well. So everything here is highly dependent upon cattle. So if they're more valuable in the market, the ranch is more valuable. The land for crop is more valuable. The pasture is more valuable. The feedlot's more valuable. Conversely, if it's not, if the cattle are selling for a lesser price, then everything else is impacted by that as well. Now obviously you may have some replacement in terms of, oh, you could have a different type of animal graze on the land. Oh, the corn can be used for a different purpose instead of feed. But you really have industry specific diversification. Now in terms of investing in your portfolio, typically when you're talking about diversification, you're talking about not industry specific diversification, but a diversification that goes beyond industries and encompasses all aspects of the economy. And the idea is to, one, it's more or less to hedge your bets, but it's also to gain in terms of your overall return. Because if you look at any type of investment, when you think about the losses that you incur, it's more difficult to come back from a loss than it is to grow upon your initial stock of capital. I'll give you an example here. If I start off with $100 and 50% of my investment is lost, I have $50, correct? Well, getting back to $100 from $50, I'm going to need an investment that turns 100% profit. You can see by that example alone that once you've dug a hole, it's very hard to get out of that hole so that you can return into positive ground. If you're diversified and you're protecting against these major downturns, you're essentially shielding yourself from those bad instances where you're having to, go from, well, I lost 50% and now I've got to turn 100% profit just to get back to where I was. So diversification, not only hedging your bets, but also placing you in a position to maximize future gains while not having to use those gains in terms of getting back to that break-even point. So what we're talking about here in our example, diversification, we have what we're seeing around us as an industry-specific diversification, which is a form of diversification, but it's not the form people tend to associate with the word diversification in terms of investing. So if you're going to diversify, remember, it's not just industry-specific, it's outside of an industry, it's outside of a national economy. It could be worldwide, it could be industry-wide, but again, it's not industry specific that you're looking for. Thank you for tuning in.